Alright, today we're going to be making a bench storage chest type thing that you can put at the end of your bed or anywhere. So let's get started. First off, I assume you're going to figure out whatever dimensions you want to make it and kind of cut all your pieces to that size. We're just making a box, it's nothing complicated. We're gluing our panels together, we're using MDF. Actually, in our case, it's 1/2 inch MDF because we don't want it to be too heavy. And we're going to use glue and some brad nails to hold it all together. If you can, use a shop assistant. It's nicer to have 4 hands instead of 2 when you're doing all of this. Makes assembly a lot easier. But we're just nailing and gluing all these pieces together to make an open box. Very simple, nothing complicated. And you notice we're gluing it all up on a plastic contractor style garbage bag because the glue doesn't stick to that, so that way you don't glue it to the table. Nice and easy. We just keep gluing and assembling each panel one by one, being very careful to get everything as square as we possibly can, and making sure those brad nails don't shoot through the MDF in a place we don't want. Take your time, line it up. Again, this is where having that assistant is nice. 2 people is much easier than 1. We're also wiping the glue out as we go, because that stuff is a pain to deal with later. So we'll continue to just flip it over, keep gluing, keep nailing, rinse and repeat. Take your time, get everything lined up just right, because once that glue dries, it's over. There's no adjustments after that. Of course, cutting all these panels very accurately is the key. MDF is incredibly easy to work with, which is nice, but you want to get your table saw or whatever tools you're using as accurate as you possibly can for those nice, clean, crisp lines. We're going to be gluing on the final panel here. Definitely want 2 people for this. Get it on nice and even, everything flush all around. And then we're going to use some squares to make sure everything is perfect while we nail it in. And we're wiping our glue off, keep it nice and neat. And now we're measuring diagonalies and making sure both measurements are the same. This ensures that our box is actually square. If all of your cuts are nice and square and clean and neat, then this thing should be perfect. If these numbers don't match up one diagonal to the next, that means your box is going to be skewed and you're going to want to fix it quick before that glue sets up if you still can. Now we flip the box over so we can work on the bottom side of it, and we're going to clamp it and let it sit overnight so it can dry and be perfect for us in the morning. You're going to want plenty of large clamps for a project like this. You can never have too many clamps in your shop, right? And what the heck, we'll even break out the big boys for good measure. Why not? Let's get this thing clamped up and let it dry. The next morning, we cut up all of the pieces we're going to use to sort of picture frame the sides for the style that we want, as well as making the feet. So the feet are pretty simple. They're just 2 pieces mitered and glued together with some brad nails in them. Pretty simple, and then glued and nailed onto the chest itself. Clamped up, once again left to dry till it's fully dry, probably overnight in most cases. We have quite a few different clamps we're working on here, because we really want this thing to be as perfect as it can get. Once everything is dry and ready to go, we added the framing to it like this to give that sort of floating panel look. That's the design we were after. Lots of clamps, very simple cuts, glued, nailed on, let it dry. Then we put these torsion hinges on from Rockler, which are great. They hold themselves up. You calculate them based on the weight of your lid, so you don't need that extra safety support. In this way they don't crush any little hands or anything in there. We had to route out a little channel because our thickness here was greater than the 3/4 of an inch they're designed for, but that's easy to do. A little router, a little channel cut in there, a little groove. They pop right in, they fit great, they look good. Lot of sanding. Expect lots and lots of sanding, filling. You want to get this thing nice, at least in our case because we're painting it, of course, because it's MDF. You're not going to stain that. So lots of sanding to get it buttery smooth. The better you're sanding, the better your paint will look. And here's how the legs look. We put a little 2x2 inside of there for added strength, and so we can put little tiny screw-in feet, leveling feet in there. And here's how it looks with some primer on it. And I just got this cool new spray gun, which this is the first time I ever got to try something like this. I've never done kind of a professional type spray job like this before. So here is what that thing is. It's the Minimite 5 Platinum. Very cool little tool from Fuji Spray Systems. Highly recommend it. I'm in no way being paid or anything by them for that, but it works great. And here's how it looks with, I don't know, first or second coat of the flat black oil-based paint that we used on this. color sanding in between all the primer coats. We did 2 primers, color sanded, and we did 3 coats of black, color sanded in between. And that paint sprayer works so amazingly well. You get such a great job out of that thing. It's just incredible. And after that, then we put on 3 coats of poly. So a nice clear, but we went with an ultra flat. Everything we're doing, we wanted a flat look. We sort of got that murdered out look on our bench, I guess. So this is how it looks after that clear. And this is the polyacrylic that we used for Minwax. It's water-based, which works over the oil-based flat black paint. And then we took some spray adhesive, sprayed it on the lid here, which probably didn't have to be painted, but we just put a little coat of this on here. And then we stuck that 2-inch thick foam to the bottom of it. And then we were going to use some scissors to cut it. Turns out scissors don't work well for cutting this. We're not upholstery people. But a flat razor blade, straight razor blade, I mean, does work wonders. Makes a perfect cut. So we cut it to size. We stuck it on there with the foam. We put our fabric underneath it. We're going to wrap it around. And as you can see, we put this blue tape on. That's just the line we're using so we know where to put our staple line at to keep it kind of looking good. Even though you're not going to see it, we still want to make it look decent. So we're going to shoot a bunch of staples into there. We fold over our edge, just like that. We do that all the way around, and then we just fire a few staples in to the folded part right there. So that way you're getting sort of a double thickness, the edge isn't going to fray and show, and the tape keeps a nice, perfectly straight staple line. So you can see that right here, and here's our staple line. It's going to all be covered. You're not going to see it, but you know, you can try to do a decent job. Here's how we do the corners. We're not good at this at all, but we're kind of guessing and making it up as we go. So we follow this line all the way down. We shoot a staple right into the end there. Then we fold it over, and we're going to shoot another one in right there. See it? There it is. And then we're going to cut some excess off so it doesn't get all bunched up in there. Kind of fold the corner over, throw a couple more staples in it, and we're good to go. I mean, it's not great looking. Like I said, we're not upholstery people, so we're kind of learning as we go and making this up as we go, I guess. Probably should have watched some YouTube videos on how to do that better. Moving along, we drilled some holes in the legs here so we could put these leveling feet in. Here's the threaded bracket that goes in then, and you just screw them in. They come with a felt pad if you're going to put it on a hard surface you don't want to get scratched. We're going to put it on curvets, so we don't need those. And here's how it looks when it's all done. We're really pleased with how it came out. I mean, it's really, really nice looking. Even up close, it looks unbelievably good. Here's those hinges in a close-up, and here's how it looks with the thing closed. Pretty cool, huh? So this is the part where I tell you to like and subscribe and all that. Do it if you want, don't if you don't. But hope you enjoyed the video, and maybe you'll make one too. Thanks for watching.